Welcome to Home on Native Land, where our guests peer into the enormous crevice between Indigenous and colonial law. Let's dive in.
I'm a prof at UBC in the Critical Indigenous Studies program, and also the Department of Political Science. I'm also Willowday or Yellowknives Dene First Nation, and it's good to be here. It would be the formal rules and laws that govern the conduct of Indigenous citizens in relationship to their places. It's akin to common law, but I consider it more expansive in that it not only governs the conduct of people amongst people and sovereigns, but amongst people and their territories, broadly understood as land, plants, animals, waters, and so on. The doctrine of discovery was again an early facet of international law. So it was a doctrine that stated that if you weren't Christian, then Christian monarchs could dispose of you and your lands at will. It's a pretty frustrating foundation upon which Canadian legal system is built. It's built on the assumption that we are too savage to be worth the recognition on par with Canadian sovereignty. It should cause us to pause a second to locate our rights in a doctrine which already assumes that our rights are not on par with the partner in that relationship. Canada showed up on our territory in the 18th century. They're white and pale and hungry and really damn cold. They contemplated making treaty with us through Treaty 11, where each party to the treaty would be guaranteed their autonomies and ways of life over time, which respected the land. So that would have been the ideal relationship, but Canada had a different understanding of it, and they wanted the land and the riches underneath it, and that's what structured the relationship. So we got a real raw end of the stick. I think that going back to the treaties has to be rethought as an ideal, because now we exist within the gamut of Canadian territory, within its mode of production, i.e. capitalism. So we have to simultaneously fight for our liberation, but also the dismantling of this corrosive and violent economic system. What it demands that we do is to recognize that the Indigenous rights fight has to always be coupled with other actions which are more about the assertion of our rights and obligations rather than the granting of them by Canadian legal institutions. That type of action is always what has propelled our well-being forward and compelled the states to give a bit and recognize more of our rights. Our rights are dependent on direct action and not the negotiations or the litigation of them in the courts. This has been a very damaging relationship that has been centuries in the making. There's been power amassed on one side and a profound amount of disempowerment on our side. So it will take work to enact or practice those legal traditions or governance systems. And it's going to be very painful for Canada to cede, I guess, the money, the wealth that it's gained from the land bases upon which we were dispossessed. So that's definitely a good takeaway from this conversation, is that there's lots of work to do.